The NBA draft concluded just the other day, where they did split it into 2 separate days. The day 1 had the first round, day 2 had the second round, and the Dallas Mavericks had a tough decision to make as we had a very late second round pick. Do we draft Bronny James? Do we move up so we can be sure to draft Bronny James? Do we trade all of our assets for Bronny James? A lot of you guys can just let out that sigh of relief, as you know that we did not get Bronny James. However, we did draft someone else, Melvin Ajinca, I think that's how you say his name, Melvin Ajinca, out of France, who is seen as a 3-and-D type of guy whose bright spots are very well developed, whereas some of the spots that need work will need some work. So in this video, we're going to break down what type of player is Melvin Ajinca, how does he fit the Dallas Mavericks roster, and what does Nico Harrison have in store for the young guy. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And as always, if you guys just smash that like button, if we can get to 500 likes, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what our next giveaway is. Next week, we're going to give away some Dallas merch, but the following month, I got something really cool in store that I think you guys will like, but I got to get the likes for it. So make sure you like this video. Let's get to 500 likes, and I'll spill the tea in the next video. But, like I said, draft night was the other night. Bronny James was the only player that the Mavericks wanted because we have close ties with LeBron James and his family, whereas Bronny James sees Nico Harrison as like an uncle. So it only made sense that Bronny James was the only answer. I mean, we had a late second round pick. Bronny James wasn't really going anywhere in the first round. He was projected to go dead last, maybe even undrafted. And even his agent, Rich Paul, had this to say. Bronny James could play in Australia per Bob Myers. Bob Myers states that Rich Paul is warning teams against drafting Bronny James, threatening that James will play in Australia next season if selected. Now, we can talk about nepotism. We can talk about how dramatic this is. I'll talk about how dramatic this is. If Bronny James gets drafted by a team other than the Lakers, he's going to play in Australia. Kind of dramatic, but it's Rich Paul, it's LeBron James. Wherever he goes, there's drama. But we did not select Bronny James. Like I said in the intro, you all can be happy, you can rejoice, because the Dallas Mavericks decided to select Melvin Ajinca, who the Mavericks just acquired the draft rights to, is the cousin of former Mavs Alexis Ajinca, who was the other player acquired in the Tyson Chandler trade in 2010. And as you know, after the trade deadline, where we did trade away, we traded away Alexis Ajinca, we did go off to win the NBA championship. So maybe we drafted Melvin as like a good luck charm, but I don't think we drafted him just to trade him away in hopes that we do win a championship. All jokes aside, Melvin Ajinca, for all intents and purposes, he is a second-round pick. You know, he wasn't seen as a highly touted player, but there are things about his game that are good. And the reason why this video is a few days late is because I wanted to watch film. I wanted to watch some highlights of the guy, see what other people said about him, because I did not know who this person was. His last name was obviously familiar. His cousin played for the Dallas Mavericks, but I wanted to know more about the type of player that we got. Is this someone that's actually going to get minutes? Are we going to put him in the G League, potentially stash him overseas? What can he do for us, or did we just pick him just because? And if we take a look here, Melvin Ajinca in the French LNB Pro A-League, these are his stats for the last season. 9.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, 0.8 assists, and 30.9% on threes per game. Great 3-and-D player for Dallas. Okay, I think it's being a little bit blown out of proportion. A great 3-and-D player, he could be. I don't think he's there just yet. From everything that I've seen, from all the highlights, all the film, the type of player that Melvin Ajinca is, yes, he could be a 3-and-D player. His defense is actually very well. He's very good at getting into the passing lanes, getting steals. He's very active on boards. I think he had about half of, like, 0.5 offensive rebounds per game. He was very active on rebounds, plays very good defense, either man-to-man or coverage. He has the right IQ for defense, and as the Dallas Mavericks have become a very defensive team, that's important. On the offensive end, his threes are pretty good. Now, 30% isn't great. He is a high volume three-point shooting player where 2/3 of all his shots are threes. From the film I saw, his step back looks very good. His catch and shoot is a little slow, but his mid-game is very good. And back up to that catch and shoot, a lot of times the moment he gets the ball, he needs time to get set. But for whatever reason, that step back was very nice. The mid-range is very good. He is athletic and strong enough. I want to say he's about 6'7", he's about 6'7". So he has the build, and he's strong enough to attack the basket. And then back on the defense, he gets into the pass lanes, get into the driving lanes. For what he is right now, there are things that are good. The three-point shot just has to be more efficient, but he is a high-volume shooter. The step back's nice, I guess. It's just the catch and shoot is kind of his weak spot. But another weak spot is his basketball IQ. If he passes the ball, brings the ball down, tries to play, make or facilitate, it's just not good. A lot of bad passes, a lot of bad reads. But on the opposite side, he has very good reads when he's attacking, whether he's calling for a ball fake, calling for a ball screen, calling for all types of stuff. When he's trying to make a play for himself, he does a lot of the good things. Trying to set someone else up for a play, that's not the type of player he is. So maybe 3-and-D, he could be one day down the road. He's just not there yet. If we just take another look here, shout out to Curse Muse, wanted to put up some more just insight on the type of player that Melvin Ajinca is. Says right here that flashes isolation scoring potential with step back threes and pull up mid-range jumpers. He isn't an amazing ball handler, but he's capable enough to make a play off the bounce, giving him more upside than stationary specialists. Good at rim finisher off straight line drives, transition attacks, and cuts. One of the things that I saw from the film that I thought was great was just the transition attacks. A lot of times when we get a fast break, and maybe you guys see it too, Luka slows it down. Luka very rarely will just run and push a fast break. If anything, he'll just throw just a full court pass. That's the fast break for Luka. But for someone like Melvin Ajinca, who is very good in transition, when there's a fast break, he's driving straight to the basket. He finishes with authority. He's very strong. If he gets fouled, he can get to the line. That's fine. But then again, like I said, he's not a good ball handler, playmaker. That's kind of the guard central stuff that he'll have to work on. But as far as his offensive bag, got to work on the catch and shoot threes. The corner threes weren't that great, but coming off of a screen, being able to create his own three, the step back three, off the bounce, a lot of good things. So when it comes to Melvin Ajinca, there are things that are good that work. There are things that need work. But the good thing is he's only 20 years old. I don't think he's a player that we expect to even see the floor, not even in garbage time, till his sophomore year if we decide to keep him. But that's if we decide to keep him. As we continue right here. Dallas Mavericks GM Nico Harrison's opening statement on Melvin Ajinca, saying he's 6'8", athletic, can shoot, 3-and-D, huge upside. We just like the way he plays. He has a chance to be really good. We're excited about the opportunity. He has a chance to be really good. So even Nico Harrison knows that it will take time for Melvin Ajinca to develop and to become a player that can actually crack the rotation. In this upcoming season, we all know that Omax is stepping up. He's coming to the rotation. We just traded away Tim Hardaway Jr. There's more trades that are bound to happen. But Omax, he took his time in the G League, and I went to a few of his games. He's a great player. I think he can definitely replace Maxey in our lineup. But maybe when it comes to Melvin Ajinca, again, like Omax, you might need a year in the G League, get a little bit of development. But what is it that Nico Harrison actually plans on doing with Melvin? He also goes on to say that Nico Harrison, if Melvin Ajinca will play for the Mavs or continue to play overseas. He says the beauty of him being a European player, we have a lot of optionality. And I think both things are on the table. We don't have a lot of roster spots available. We can kind of figure it out as we go, and I like that response. You know, it's one thing if you just get somebody late in the second round and you just cut them or you put them in the G League, you do whatever with them. But the fact that we have options, the fact that we can put them in the G League, we can put them at the end of the bench, we can stash them overseas, which I think that might be the best option. We may see how he does over here in our G League, and then maybe next season, who knows? Nico Harrison says it himself, optionality. We have the options to do what we need to do. When it comes to Melvin Ajinca, will he be just a big contributing factor on this team? Maybe not for another few years. But like I said, the things that he's good at, the threes, attacking the basket, the defense is very good. Those are the things that are going to highlight him down the road. And if he continues to just work on that, he'll be good. But the things that needs work on, the playmaking, the passing, those things you got to work on. It'll definitely take a good guard, someone like Kyrie Irving, to just get him in the lab and just work on what Kyrie does best. And not saying that someone like Melvin needs to have guard skills, but if you're going to be in the Dallas Mavericks, you may be asked to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, be a little bit of flexible in what you can do. And there's nothing wrong with just enhancing your tool belt. You could be good at one thing. You could also be great at another thing. Melvin Ajinca, we traded up for him. We traded our pick with the New York Knicks to actually get the guy. We sent cash consideration. So we made a good pick. We didn't get Bronny James, where he may have gone to Australia. We got a player that, you know, his cousin played for us, so he'll be excited to be here. And whether or not we stash him overseas from the G League, that's to be determined. The future's bright for him as long as he continues to improve, stays with the Mavericks, as long as the Mavericks continue to improve and want to be a winning team. Who knows? The next year or two, Melvin may be on the bench with the rest of the guys, actually contributing. But until then, we just got to wait and see. But thank you guys for making this far into the video. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another giveaway. The winner will be announced the first week of July. Next week, we'll do a little live stream giveaway for that. But until next time, as always, drink water. Peace.